CashColorCannabis, a high-level conversation on LivehiphopDaily.tv, and I have my first guest in the building, Jason Santamaria. Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. You know, I came across your brand through one of our sponsors, Georgia Hemp Company. Joe Salome. I walked in the shop one day, and the first thing, you know, Joe has super energy.
Oh, he's the best.
I walk in the shop, Mecca. Boom! You gotta try it. And I was like, "What is it?" He goes, "This is seltzer water. You're gonna love it. Matter of fact, take two." So I'm just sitting here with seltzer water in my bag. Matter of fact, I still have it in my refrigerator because I was like, I kind of want to speak to the person about it. Can I do that, Joe? Yeah. And he told me, matter of fact, he sends me this long, I love Joe, sends me this long email with 3 brands that's in his store right now. He says, bro, you need to have him on the show. You need to talk to this guy. All right, well, cool. I got him. Jason
shout out to Joe. Thanks for putting that connection together.
Tell you, Joe, it was a great brand ambassador. He might need a check for that. Yeah. He did a great job for that. So let's talk, man. First question I do ask all my guests is, who are you? Explain who Jason Santamaria is.
All right. So, I'm born and raised here in Atlanta. Grew up in Gwinnett area. Went to Georgia Tech and then moved as far away as possible to California. Ended up just traveling around the U.S. Ended up back here. Okay. Worked for a consulting company, and during that time, I wanted to have my own thing. I kind of grew up in a restaurant family here in town. So, immigrant family from Cuba. So I was a little kid running around my grandfather's restaurant, 4 years old, trying to get chocolate mousse. And then
and it's strong.
Oh, it's so good.
yes, it is.
But texturally, it's great. Right?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Texturally, yes, it's great. Way better than cereal.
I mean, hands down, it's better than cereal.
Yes,
so, had a catering company in college, bringing the food back.
Oh, okay.
And then got into beer and brewing. It's kind of the two of them together. Mm-hmm. And so, kind of fast forward, I started a brewery in 2014, second self beer company here in town. And then been working on that since then. And the name comes from that time when I was working on my own company while working at a giant, massive company. So this is my second self, alter ego, kind of. That's where it all comes from.
I got you. Well, before we get into water, second self beer company. What are some of the beers that you do have coming through? I know I'm pretty sure it's a craft line.
Yeah. So it's all craft beer. We're located on West Midtown, so Chattahoochee, Collier area.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
Our top seller is the Thai wheat, so ginger lemongrass wheat. So that's been around since the beginning. You get Kroger, Publix. ATL is our second best seller. Okay. Hometown hero, and then we have several IPAs, porters, sours. Whole lineup.
Awesome.
We have 18 beers on at the brewery right now.
Awesome.
So we got something for everybody.
So are you a beer connoisseur? Like, are you one of those people?
Yeah, I love beer.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a beer judge. I'm a beer maker.
Okay.
So I'd say yeah.
So put it this way: if I handed you a Bud Light, would you be like?
No, I'm not a beer snob.
Okay.
I mean, a free beer is free beer. It's starting to turn out a free beer.
Factuals, man.
But if you gave me a choice between a Bud Light and a Thai wheat, I'm going to choose a Thai wheat.
Got you. Well, we are here to talk about Cirrus, which is a CBD seltzer water. And from what I gathered, when I was reading a story about you a little while ago, the idea for the water came from your grandfather.
Yeah, so lots of things inspired me from my grandfather. Yeah. I mean, again, born in Cuba, kind of lived the American dream. So he's been an inspiration for me my whole life. Last year, he's 95, and doesn't take any pills, no prescription, is having a hard time sleeping, and didn't want to take like Tylenol PM. So he's looking for an herbal something to help him sleep that wasn't a pill. So. I started doing research on CBD for him. I ended up starting using CBD myself and liking it a lot because as a business owner, I'm a little stressed sometimes. So it helped me sleep. It helped me just unwind at the end of the day, and it helped my grandfather sleep too. So
awesome.
So it's kind of a little tie in there. But awesome. It started as like trying to help him and myself, and then grew to what it is now. Okay. About a year later.
So and that's a good thing to mention. Because when I first tried some CBD products, especially pre-rolls, I was asking Joe, what are some of the things I should look for? And he said, man, it's going to be a good sleep. Yeah. Yeah, and it is, because I don't, like you say, business person, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you probably don't get the best sleep. And his CBD pre-rolls, when I say that's nap time, baby. Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Good sleep, not like a pass out sleep.
No.
Dreaming sleep. Still.
No. So we do got Cirrus, and with Cirrus we have two different flavors. I know we have the pure and we have the Waikiki. Talk to us about how you developed the flavors and what made you want to run with these two first.
Sure. I mean, I also just like soda water in general. It's something to have besides beer. It's So I wanted to have the pure because I like mixing this with cocktails. So you get to mix your antioxidants and your oxidants.
Okay.
So, healthy and unhealthy at the same time. So that's mostly how I use the pure. It's good on its own. But then the Waikiki, it's the name comes from one of the most famous beaches in the world in Hawaii. And I was fortunate enough to go there last year. And one thing I loved about it was just how great the fruits tasted.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanted to go with that. Like fruits you can find on the island. So papaya and lychee, 2 exotic fruits. And these are things you never see in a carbonated water.
No.
Like when you go and look down the aisle, you have grapefruit or lime or cherry or whatever.
Of course.
No one's doing interesting combination of flavors. And that's what I've been doing for years, is creating different combinations for beer.
Yeah.
Applying the same thing here.
Yeah.
So we're starting with this one. The next ones, and they're all going to be named after famous beaches.
Okay.
So I'm kind of working on the names right now. But the next one's going to be grapefruit, lime, and then after that's orange, pineapple. And I'm working on ginger, turmeric, and a hop and terpene one.
Okay.
For down the line. That latter one's going to be a higher dose.
Awesome.
One as well.
Higher. Yeah. Speaking of doses, because I know these are 10 milligram, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, and what made you want to start off with 10 milligrams? Is it kind of like baby stepping people into how?
Yes and no. So it's a true 10. So it's tested 10. Some other products might not test to what they say they are. Georgia's not a mature market for CBD.
No, not yet.
So we want to enter this with something that won't make someone fall asleep after having one.
Yeah.
But if you want more, you can certainly buy more. But we're also pricing it accordingly. So it is much cheaper than the higher dose options that are out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking about Atlanta not being a mature market when it comes to CBD, we're not. It's still something that's growing here. But that said, it's still something that's really trendy. Like I'll walk in the gas station now and I'll see CBD products, which is weird as hell.
Everyone's trying to make a quick buck on CBD right now. That's for sure.
Exactly. And knowing that it's one of the quote unquote trendy things right now, how do you plan on branding out Cirrus to where it doesn't fall in that trendy line and it comes off as something that's going to be something that's going to stand over time?
Sure. There's 2 big things about this. This is an all-natural product.
Yeah.
We're not using any sweeteners. We're not using anything like that. The extracts we're using are made with real fruits. So we're actually taking fruit, using alcohol, and then distilling it to create the extract for it. So it's a labor of love. No sweeteners or anything in there. So it's a natural. For me, it's a health product.
Okay.
It's about living. It helps me focus during the day. Helps me sleep at night. It's just part of my regimen, if you will.
Okay.
And that's how I see it, differentiating from just something you buy at a gas station.
You're right. Yeah, that's yeah. Because I tell people I'm often. When I saw the products pop up at the gas station, that made me nervous. I'm like, so are people really running in here and buying gummies out of the gas station that just say CBD? Like, that's bizarre.
Yeah, probably, because their friend told them to try it. And that's what they saw it. And but what are the potencies of those
Yes,
gummies?
exactly.
I mean, you have to know your reputable sources from the farm all the way to the can. In my case.
Yeah.
And you just gotta have paperwork throughout the whole thing. You gotta trust all your suppliers.
Oh, speaking of that, do you source from Georgia, or where are you getting your sources from?
Yeah, so big news we haven't talked about this week. The hemp bill goes into effect yesterday. The
July 1st.
Bill went into effect yesterday. So congrats to Georgia.
Yes.
For finally living up to the times.
Yes,
but,
yes.
Our hemp is coming from Oregon. It's processed in Washington.
Okay.
And we use it here. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was illegal to process in Georgia until yesterday.
Yeah.
And the regulations still aren't there. So there's not a current supplier in Georgia right now.
But when we do find a current supplier, you will be trying to source it locally?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm already talking to 3 farmers and 2 different extractors. So I'm just waiting for everything to get online, and then we'll be moving everything we can to this. But it's going to take some time.
Okay.
It's 100 days to cultivate hemp. So it's at least 100 days away.
Okay. Well, one thing we do, especially my audience and everybody who comes by the studio, not only do we consume, we also drink. As you can tell, around here, we're definitely a Douce house. Vodka does make an appearance here and there. What is a good pairing when it comes to alcohol? What is a good pairing for your drinks? Like, what as far as alcohol? I know I did see vodka is a good one, but is there any other thing that you try?
The quick answer is anytime you want to use soda, you can replace it with this.
Okay.
Now it has an herbal component to it, so I like to use more herbal mixers to go with it. So like this weekend I made a Negroni, which is gin, Campari, and sweet vermouth, and I added this. Ooh. And then I also made a drink that was thyme, lavender, gin, and lemon. And touches some simple syrup to kind of balance it out.
Okay, that sounds good.
But herbs are the way to really make this stuff pop.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the Waikiki side, because it has so much flavor on its own, I just use vodka this because it's just great.
That's also, so if we were recommending somebody, if you was recommending it to somebody, you would recommend that, if you was using the Waikiki with a little flavor, add that to some vodka.
Yeah, add a little twist of lime, make it brighter. It's delicious.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, what the next thing I saw that you are working on is possibly a CBD tea and possibly a coffee.
Yeah.
Is that something that's currently down the pipeline, or is it still in development?
No, it's coming down the pipe. I mean, we have a coffee roaster in house, so we've been making coffee already.
Okay.
We've made a couple nitrogenated coffees, and so that's coming down. And I don't have a timeline yet, but we have all the equipment. We're almost done with R&D.
All right. Is it going to be as strong as Cuban coffee?
No, it won't be as strong as Cuban coffee. Yeah,
Cuban coffee will wake you up.
I love me some Cuban coffee.
Yeah,
yeah, it gets you going though.
Cuban coffee, that get in your blood.
Yeah,
it makes you man.
Yeah.
I was like,
a lot of coffee, a lot of sugar.
Yes. So I know, currently you can find it in Georgia and in Alabama.
Correct.
What are your plans on expansion?
I mean, we're looking to go all over the U.S. I mean,
Okay.
I talked to a distributor today to get it into a good bit more states, and maybe even Canada, because that's a very CBD friendly place.
Yes.
So we're looking at all the recreational states, more the lax medical states as well, because they just have more favorable laws.
Yeah.
And an educated consumer base.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be able to have the whole product line and then the higher dose products as well.
Florida would be a good market to try.
Florida's a great market.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to a distributor down there too.
Okay,
yeah.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. We are as we're speaking about expansion. One thing you do have to make yourself aware of is how state laws are different.
Right.
And right now I'm looking at New York State, for example, in New York State they're passing a law that will go into effect later, but they're passing a law in which that you cannot sell food products that are infused with CBD.
Correct.
That's going to be kind of a crash to some of the people there who actually have products and were planning on rolling stuff out in a big way. Now you got to find out whether or not you can put it in the stores, how you can sell it, all that stuff. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah. So what's happening now is the FDA is actually starting to look at CBD. It's the first time they've ever looked at anything like this ever. Mm-hmm. So what's likely going to happen? It will go down a dietary supplement route. And so I'm actually already working with our suppliers to make sure they're going to get FDA approval, because that makes everything kind of work.
Yes.
Now, if you're buying gummies at the Quick Trip, they're probably not going to be FDA approved because they're probably not a great quality source. Yeah. But we have good trusted suppliers, so it's going to be. Every state's going to have its own law. The Farm Bill on the federal side passed in December, which kind of opened it up pretty easy. Yeah. But because it opened very quickly, a lot of people jumped in, like we just talked about.
Exactly. So, yeah. You woke up and everybody had a CBD product at one point.
So I think very quickly, in the next few months, we're going to see a big shakedown. Because of these new regulations that are going to come.
Yeah, and well, it's not a fear for me, but I do fear for some of my friends and some of the people I do know who have businesses, and some of the people I know who are trying to launch a business. That you really you got to watch how laws are being passed. You got to watch what's actually happening.
You do.
You might wake up one day and not have a product.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've been dealing with the regulation of alcohol for 5 years, so I'm used to having lots of regulations, so I'm always used to looking ahead and see what's happening. Yeah. But if you're anyone who's starting a business, just make sure you do your research. Make sure you're buying from good suppliers.
Yes.
And if you trust your network and you're doing the right thing, you should be fine.
Speaking of alcohol, how do alcohol businesses and alcohol look at you now that you're trying to get into CBD as well? Like, are you getting side-eyed by people?
Everyone hates me. Everyone hates what I'm doing. I have everyone asking me how I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And, everyone. Some people say I can't do it, but I can.
Yeah, I can imagine that, man. Like another craft beer company is looking at you like, waving their fists.
Yeah, I mean, I beat everyone to market, and everyone's kind of wondering why they didn't do it themselves.
Yeah, well, most people were pumping their feet they were trying to make sure they didn't jump into something too quickly. But at the same time, you should have something ready to go. Even for the moment it's happening, you were ahead of that curve.
Right.
So I no problem. I appreciate that you being ahead of that curve. So what are the future plans for Cirrus?
So, I mean, right now it's getting more. I mean, doing events like this, getting more education, make people aware of this. I mean, we're only a month and a half old, so we're real fresh. So, really, just getting more people to try it.
Really, only a month and a half old.
Yeah,
that's crazy because I've literally seen this product on my timeline at least 5 times in the last 2 weeks from various events. So again, Joe and Georgia Hemp Company. So yeah, only a month old, really.
Yeah. So just trying to keep it growing.
Yeah, the dude that buys, man.
Yeah.
And speaking of the dude that buys, y'all probably don't get this joke, but on the back of his shirt is a Simpsons caricature, but it's the dude, man. Like, I'm a big Lebowski fan. Like, I don't know if y'all ever watched The Big Lebowski. It is the most like ridiculous movie you'd ever want to see, but it all makes sense. I love Lebowski, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is I was on a craft beer bowling league.
This all makes sense.
This is a Simpsons Lebowski mashup I had commissioned by an artist who does our beer cans.
Oh man, my wife hates Big Lebowski. Like, anytime I try to force it on her, absolutely hates it. It's not a girl movie, I guess. It's definitely a guy. It's definitely a guy flick. But man, you're not a Lebowski fan either? Oh, girl.
See, there you go.
Oh, man, are you serious? Watching Lebowski started smoking a joint and watching it fly. Yo, it's just I love him. I love him, man. What an amazing character, boy.
Just flying down the bowling alley.
Yeah, just flying down the bowling alley. The dude abides, man. The dude abides. So I am proud of you, and I'm proud that for something that's only a month old, you've actually made a lot of good traction in this area and as well as in Alabama. So I'm very optimistic about the future, and I'm great to be able to see what's about to happen later down the pipeline for you guys.
God, I certainly appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. You know what? I would love to see if you can come back here and maybe we can get one of our friends who is a mixologist and we do a little tutorial over here about the brand, man. Let people know how you could actually mix some drinks and what's going to taste good. I'll be a taste tester.
Okay. I'm sure we'll get plenty of volunteers.
You should have seen the day we did the rolling tutorial. Yeah, plenty of volunteers for that. Everybody wants to know that.
Broke.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta try it again. Wait, does it smoke right? Got you. That's crazy. But Jason, I do appreciate you coming through. That was an amazing interview, and thank you for allowing us to learn a little bit more about the brand and dropping off some samples for us.
Of course, anytime.
All right, thank you very much. And that's CashColorCannabis, a high level of conversation on LivehiphopDaily.tv.
Thank you.
All right, so